As someone who's kind of chronically online and who loves to observe in silence and to notice patterns and make predictions based on those patterns, I believe that these are going to be the new trends in fashion content creation. And those influencers and creators who want to be ahead of the game, who want to be the leaders of the pack, they are going to need to engage in these types of content. One is interesting fashion, and I loved Quiet Luxury. If you've been here long enough, you know how much I've spoken about Quiet Luxury, how much I identify with understated fashion as my personal aesthetic. But at the end of the day, it's pretty bland and it's pretty boring. And it was really the fashionistas, the content creators, the stylists who were putting their own spin, their personality, and their chicness into making these basic pieces look interesting, look exciting. And a lot of these design houses and these fashion retailers were definitely making maximum profit of selling us these very basic, oversized, under constructed or even deconstructed pieces that we as the wearer would have to put effort into creating interesting styles. And so moving forward is those fashion creators or content creators rather, and stylists that are willing to step outside of what is supposed to be our cerulean blue moment and go towards things that are more bold, things that are eccentric, things that are exciting. Right now, I'm looking at 3D printed fashion items, and I find it so intriguing and enthralling to know that you could get something out of a printer like this and put it on someone's body and it can be functional, it can be beautiful, and it can last. Saying that people are stepping outside of the very common, very popular brands that we know to be the top design houses like the Chanels, the Louis Vuittons, the Gucci's. I'm noticing that people are finding interest in fashion weeks outside of Paris, outside of New York. People are gaining more interest in Copenhagen fashion. People are gaining interest in Lagos Fashion Week because this is where we are finding more exciting types of designs and styles that even the average person could see themselves wearing and feeling excited to participate in fashion. So any fashion content creator that's willing to step outside the uniform of the fashion content creator of today, they're going to be gaining so much more traction, so much more interest, and they're definitely going to grow. Number two is going to be those who make the rare vintage finds. Now, vintage shopping, secondhand shopping, consignment shopping is nothing new, but a lot of us are coming to the realization that even designer fashion of modern day is putting out some very crappy, very poorly constructed pieces. And so the interest now is in seeking out those rare vintage fashion and accessories that are of exquisite quality, that look so much better than items that are being made today. And so a lot of the viewership and the fanfare is going to go to those content creators who are going to seek out these rare vintage pieces, pieces that are from even the heritage brands, the popular brands, the Chanel's, the Gucci's that we know of today, but it's going to be from specific collections. It's going to be from specific creative directors. And instead of the Zara hauls and the Hermes unboxings, I think a lot of fanfare and increased viewership is going to go to the creators who are going to be doing these rare vintage unboxings, who are going to be able to take us shopping with them in these exclusive invite only estate sales where they will be able to find these extremely rare designer pieces. Number three is going to be the ability to toe the line between gatekeeping and sharing. Now, by default, as a fashion content creator or influencer, you are expected to share. That is your whole shtick. Everybody is viewing your content because they want to gain something from it. However, you must be sharing something interesting. You must be sharing something desirable. You must be sharing things that are aspirational. And a lot of those things are rooted in exclusivity. They are rooted in privacy. So it's going to be the content creators who are able to strike that balance between getting into these exclusive spaces while still being able to share bits and pieces of their lives and inspire their audience, those are the ones who are going to be set apart. Those are the ones who are going to get all the views. There is another one that I think is going to be so interesting to see happen, and that is leaving the online space and heading back into real life. It's being able to disconnect but still be present online and connect with your audience. Being chronically online is actually being considered cringe right now, especially by the younger generations. Everybody now believes it's time to touch grass. We need to get outside and to actually get back into real life and get into communities. So the content creators who are able to go out into communities to gain much experience, to gain knowledge, and to learn, those are the content creators who we will be watching. We are going to be so much more interested in seeing them go to explore history, go to explore art, to learn skills, to engage in hobbies, rather than following them around and seeing them purchasing items, seeing them purchasing these designer fashion pieces. And it's not that they will not be engaging in fashion, they will be just as fashionable showing up to these different places and learning all that they can learn to make them more culturally adept. And that leads me to number 5, which is to have good personalities and great stories. The early YouTube days or early Instagram days, what we really truly loved about our OG content creators were the personalities that we got. It was the stories that they told us and not so much what they were buying, what they were wearing. But of course, I say this all the time, capitalism is going to seep its way into every aspect of life. And that is really where a lot of this went downhill. We started to see people lose their personality. Some of my favorite content creators from back in the day, I don't even watch them anymore because they, as much as I was happy for them at the time to score these really huge sponsorships and partnerships, it felt like they sold out their personalities, and all they're promoting right now is just what to buy. What's the next it thing? Buy, buy, buy. And that really is not what a lot of people are interested in right now. And so it's going to be those content creators who are going to bring back the storytelling. They're going to bring back the personality. They're going to bring back the what's in my bag videos. When we used to watch what's in my bag videos, it wasn't because we wanted to buy the things in the bag. It was because we liked the stories that the items told us about the person. And that was the interesting part about it. But now everything has become so monotonous. Everybody starts to look the same. Everybody starts to sound the same. Everybody's living in the same cities. It's just gotten so boring, and it's anyone who is going to step outside of the norm and show us something interesting, show us what we think is real life, those are the people who are going to be captivating their audiences. 6 is ethics and sustainability. And there has been a collective awakening of the global populace towards the fact that the overproduction and overconsumption of fashion has definitely been harming the beautiful planet that we live on. And therefore, people are now going to want to align more with content creators and fashion influencers who are very much aware of this and who make this a part of their content and who are going to be, as we mentioned, shopping vintage, shopping secondhand, and less so doing fast fashion hauls. They're going to be aligning themselves with content creators who are going to be willing to speak about these things. That would mean stirring the pot, and majority of influencers don't want to do that because they don't want to miss opportunities, but people are genuinely going to prefer to look towards those who are speaking the truth, who are speaking out against anything that is negative. 7 is supporting smaller independent brands and designers. We're kind of in this eat the rich movement, not supporting huge corporations and businesses who don't care about us as consumers, who don't care about their own creative minds, their creative directors, their designers, their manufacturers, the little people who work. They only care about the bottom line, and they'll do anything to make maximum profit. But we are going to find ourselves being more interested in learning about smaller brands, because this again speaks to us wanting to be a part of community, wanting to explore and find new interesting fashion. And I think we're going to see so many more creators branch out of this hive mind of just falling for what these huge corporations want us to fall for, want us to think is the it item, the it fashion, the it brand of the moment. And we are going to look towards the creators who are willing to show us the smaller brands, the smaller designers, the up and coming creators who are definitely doing big things in all different parts of the world. So that was my little ramble on my predictions for what I think we can expect to see moving forward in fashion content. I am thrilled to be a part of this. I have so many things to share. I couldn't even decide on what video to film today because I have so many ideas and thoughts and bits of content floating around in my mind. And I'm looking forward to my fellow content creators, those who are so much more fashionable, so much more knowledgeable than I am, to feed us this type of content. Like, we are hungry, we are yearning for these pieces of content, and I hope that we all will be able to enjoy fashion for ourselves as a collective, as a group. And until my next video, stay fashionably well and in good health.